We are live. What's up? What's up? What's up? This is the Lit Stream. I am Crunk Chocolate. My show, bro. Trappy Charlie, how you doing? It's Thursday.
You know, I'm ready to get lit, man. It's been a week.
There.
So I'm
Almost
excited.
there.
You know, excited to be here tonight.
Yes. Same. This is the Sunday or the Thursday before our 3 years anniversary. You know, that's crazy. 3 years of Shades Blue. I mean, we're gonna talk about it obviously more, but that's wild, right?
Time flies when you're having fun, man. And it's all the things that have happened. Couldn't imagine they would have happened back when you sent that first, when I sent you that first DM a long time ago. But man, it's been quite the ride. I got a question for you.
Shoot.
How did it feel this week having Champions League football in the round of 16 and City men not being a part of it?
It was, anxiety levels so low. It's been nice being able to take deep breaths and just relax. And I haven't watched much football, for being honest. I got planning and preparing for this trip, honestly, and just also trying to knock out things for this as well. Get a little ahead of some things. I can enjoy the trip a little bit more. But yeah, what about you? You're like Mr. Sports. So how much football have you ingested?
I mean, that's what basketball's for. I'm a Lakers fan, shouts to this Kobe hoodie and GG. So my basketball uptake has gone way up since Luka came to the Lakers. Now, I follow the scores. I know who won the first legs. I saw, a couple highlights. But I'm not like, oh my God, it's 3:00 Eastern. I got to lock in. No, I don't. I can lock out. And so it's been very, very relaxing and, let other people sweat and try to win a trophy,
Love it. Love it. Well, we have 3 amazing guests today. Ty, Theo, and Mo. Nice, short, strong names, just I'm excited to chat with all of them. But first, let's get into the blues, the citydom. First up, he had me on one of his recently started podcasts, and I was gracious, he was gracious enough to ask me to be one of his early guests. So shout out to him. We'll have him talk about that very shortly. And by that, I mean now give it up for Ty. What's up, my friend?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Ready to get lit with you guys. Come on, City. Come on, City.
Let's go.
So Sharpie, I heard you guys talking. It has actually been an interesting week of not watching our team in the last 16. It's been kind of, I won't say nice by any means because you never want to see your team go out, but it's been fun to watch the other games and just have that anxiety level just gone. You can just watch and I was really hoping to see Arsenal have the reverse scoreline that they did, get beat 7-1.
No, they did good. They did good.
They did very good. They were very good at the football.
It was awesome. Hey, quick question for you guys. Can I curse on this?
Yes, say whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, cool. I just, a guy that spent a good chunk of his life in the Philadelphia area. So
gotta show himself.
It has been such a weird experience being out this early and watching the teams that you hate play and just root against them. That's been kind of fun.
Watching.
Yeah, dude, I was hoping that Julian would just go fucking crazy on Real, and he
tried.
That fucking banger,
he tried.
That's a banger.
So it was it's been a good couple days. Seeing United choke at the end of the game today was pretty fun. Having that on when I was working and one eye on the TV and one eye on the emails coming in. So it's been a good
balance.
Week. Yeah.
There you
Crunk,
go.
when do you take off for Manchester?
A week from today.
Heck yeah.
At 4.
Fun.
Okay.
Fun.
Yeah. Big things popping for Crunk.
But
Crunk takes Britain.
I'm excited.
I've been trying to slide him all the things that I really enjoyed doing.
Been super helpful
in October, and I can't wait to live vicariously through you while you're over there again.
I have a sheet of paper that I'm writing, and it's broken up in 4 like sections: food, coffee, bars, London parties.
That's the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
It's on my. I'm trying to make my pilgrimage in October.
This is why she's in marketing.
There you
Heck
go.
yeah.
You can't. You literally can't do it. It's
Oh
impossible.
my god.
Yeah, I got to get over
Love
for the
it.
first time this year. It's on my bucket list. So.
Dude,
Yes.
it was incredible. I got to do it finally in October, and me and my dad and siblings went, and it was just the best.
Nice.
So it was a lot of fun. Sharpie, where would you like to go if you were planning your trip today?
Oh, I mean, obviously, like other than the Etihad, and I mean, I'm not like a huge foodie. I'm definitely down to like see some. I'm a history buff, so like or history nerd. So check out some local spots. I would definitely want to get down to London. See all the sites. I actually would be interested in going to like one of the like London clubs matches, like Crystal Palace or somebody smaller that's not like Tottenham or Arsenal. Fuck that. So just to see like a different vibe. West Ham, we love West Ham. So to see what it's like in East London.
Bro said lower
West Ham
and
City.
then said West Ham.
Wait, what?
No, I mean we are definitely friends with West Ham. That's like
I'm saying they're little because like they don't win. Like it's a big club that doesn't win a lot. So mid-table club. I should be more specific. A mid-table side.
Oh my gosh. I wasn't expecting the West Ham slander. I thought you were going to say we've just played Leyton Orient. They're a London team.
No. Like, I don't go to 16 seats. I don't want to see that shit. Like no, like give me. I need a nice like 7 to 12 seat range. Like
he's like, I want a feel good story still.
I don't need that. I don't need
okay.
Rudy. I don't need Rudy in football.
Fair.
Like
that's
in
fair.
UK football.
Heck yeah.
Here experience from London Stadium's kind of a trip. Oh yeah, the Olympic track does make.
That's right. See, I got to see that. I want to see that. Get that type of vibe.
It's so weird. They're like 100 yards away from the field.
So far.
When I first started watching Premier League, like I felt
That's
like
fun.
their old stadium was just such an atmosphere, and then this one's just. I think that's the thing that kind of takes me out of like watching any matches that they play at home unless they're playing somebody good. Like, I'm just like I'd rather watch a team that has a better home atmosphere. So that would be, I'd rather go to Fulham. Craven Cottage would be incredible.
Yeah, Cottage, yeah.
Good shout.
Shout
I will
out
say
Anthony Robinson.
Oh hell yeah, he should be coming to City. Hopefully, the thing that's interesting about West Ham is that if you go to Serie A, they have stadiums that are set up the same way, but the atmosphere is so crazy, right? Like those ultras. They can because the players will, like run out, jump over the track, do a cartwheel, and then like finally make it to the fans. But like everybody's going crazy versus like West Ham's kind of like yay bubbles.
Yeah, the bubble machine is a little interesting, but I like the team. I really wish Somerville was performing a little bit better than he is for them this year. I thought that was going to be like the signing of the season.
I feel sorry for Kudus, like free Kudus, man. He deserves somebody's going to get him for like 40 mil, and we're going to look up and be like, damn, they really got him.
If he was going to leave, where do you see him landing?
That's not my thing.
That's an interesting play. I think like if you went Big Six, I would pray he wouldn't go to United just for his own safety and career.
Are they Big Six?
I mean, just by history.
Traditionally,
but honestly, like I would love him at a place like imagine him at like Brentford, right? Like because I think they're gonna lose the winger that's been balling out.
Though. I think he wants a winner.
Clivert.
I mean, he wants a bag, right? So, like, if you want a bag, you got to go to Spurs. You got to go to Arsenal. You got to go like Arsenal could use.
So you think he's going to stay in the Premier League? You don't see some like Serie A. You don't see like randomly AC Milan. Well, I was going to say Juventus, but they're cheap now.
Well, the wages are like if you want wages, you go to Premier League or you go to Saudi. And so it's just like I don't know if he's ready to say I don't care about winning, which is understandable for sure. Like Diaby did it, right? He just left. Aston Villa went over to Saudi, but then like people leave like a year or two, a year and a half, and then they come back. You'll catch them like, oh, this player's coming back from Saudi. So like you can go out there, get a bag, and come back. He's still young.
Come back and then play for Brentford.
Yeah, exactly. Be lit.
Dude, I'm Eric Laporte. He's had 2 years to kind of recover from his injuries and all that. I think I see him moving back to a big club after this season, and I
hope so.
I wish it was City, but it's not.
So like he still has it.
Yeah, dude, he's unreal.
I have a Laporte shirt, so I'm actually a really big fan of him. Let's talk a little MLS because that's not really my bag. So I really like when there are MLS people in here who can come and let us know up to date. And you're Minnesota Wild. Wild is the hockey team.
Wild is the hockey team.
Yes,
just got beat by my Detroit Red Wings last week. So what's up?
Yay! But how are your hopes for this season?
I talked a little bit about this like a week or two ago on Ball Junkies. It like so many other things in football, it all depends on if we can stay healthy. I think we're doing something interesting. So we have a guy that was the youngest coach ever to get his professional license, Eric Ramsey, that came over from United. And he had glimpses last year where he showed that he's got some interesting ideas. I don't think he adapts well when his game plan is not going according to plan. So it'll be interesting to see how his second season goes. I picked them to finish third in the West, but I think fifth might be a little bit more realistic. We did lose week 1 to LAFC, which is a really tough opening match for anyone to play away, especially. So, but I think Minnesota has one of the sneakier home field advantages in all of MLS. I think, there's only been a few matches that we don't sell out, and it's usually like -5 degrees when that happens. But I think we've got a sneaky good team. Bongi Longwane is playing wingback for us right now. He was our leading goal scorer last year and leading assist giver. So South African dude, he has all the wheels. I wish he was a little bit better at not turning the ball over so much, but I love Bongi. He is one of my favorite players in MLS. And then we signed Kelvin Yeboah, who came over last year. And I think that he could have 20 goals for us this season. But I'm worried a little bit defensively. We've got a guy that's Michael Boxall. He's been there since we came into the MLS. He is pretty solid defensively, can definitely pick up his share of yellow cards. But I think the biggest thing is he's getting up there in age. So at some point you have to bring in his replacement. And I was hoping that it would be this year. It still could. There's still time. But I'm worried defensively and in the midfield a little bit. So
okay. So what place did you think possibly is fifth?
I said third, but realistically it's probably more fifth.
Okay. So that's slightly better than last year. Sharpie, were you about to say something?
Ty, can you help the people that are MLS illiterate like me? Is it 8? It's 8 playoff teams per conference, right?
I think that there was a play-in game last year that was implemented. Let me see.
NBA life, love that.
Yeah,
I mean, Google's free, but I was like, let me just ask him because he, this is your team. So I was like, because my question is like, if fifth is where you want to go, how does that set you? Like, what's a successful season, right? Like, is it like first round we make it?
Did you say 9?
Yeah,
I think it's 8 and 9 is the play-in game, right?
8 and 9. Yeah.
So. Last year we were in one of the play-in games. So,
okay.
But yeah, I think fifth would be great. I think to answer your question though, like what would be a successful season is just maybe winning a round in the playoffs and then going from there.
Awesome. That sounds good, man. What's up, Tom? You there?
Just trying to figure out if he was there or not.
No,
the Wi-Fi is, is doing. It does things. It does things.
Because I was like, I swore he was an admin, so I just thought he was gonna like
he could pop in.
Yeah. No worries. Okay. I'm over MLS. It bores me. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm trying to lock in because honestly, I'm still bitter about like Chicago. I want to become a supporter of them, but they kept trying me, so I'm all in on the Stars. So like NWSL, we talk NWSL over here, but MLS, just because it's the closest team that I've wanted to try, but they keep like annoying me and repelling me, and they just
like not giving you credentials or
no. Oh God, no. Why would I know? No, just
I mean,
who
there
they
are
are.
plenty
They're just like
people.
sassy on this. Oh, I mean, I know, I definitely know how they are. They're, but also I feel like that's a lot of MLS teams in general. But also, I'm not here to like talk about that because no, I'm just talking about like on social media, and they're just weird, and through emails they've been weird, and so it's just
Plus,
weird.
they hired Greg Berhalter, which is like the least likable guy in MLS. So they're ruined for me. So here's my selling point for you, Crunk. When all other leagues are done for the night, you got MLS.
Late night, yeah.
You can have as many beers until like 11:30 p.m. in the Midwest and still be watching MLS. So
That's fair.
I get to punish my wife this time of year of there's soccer on from like 6 a.m. until midnight. So
honestly, I'm washed and I like fall asleep at like 9 because I'm up at like early. So I'm a morning person, not a nighttime person. So yeah, I like honestly trying to stay up for Angel City games. It like kills me half the time. I'm good for like maybe 55 minutes, and then all of a sudden I just like wake up and the game's off. It's like something else. Like it's just So
Minnesota plays San Jose this weekend, and I'm dreading how late that game is going to go because it starts at 9:30 p.m. So it's going to be a late one.
How are they on stoppage
naps
time?
important.
They definitely have like 10 minutes of stoppage time most games too. So it's like, oh no.
This is the most like 35 plus conversation ever.
This is not lit at all.
This is the
but we're drinking beers, guys. Come on.
Man, like, whoop, 9:30. I don't know. Might not make it. Midnight is way too late out here.
I mean, but that's where I live. There's like nothing fun to happen. Like specifically, I like downloaded this app, Resident Advisor, on and I've just been looking at the events and stuff that because the other day during the watch along, you remember I was trying to find concerts and stuff that was going on.
That's right, yeah.
And those are just more focused to like some dance action. I want to like get out there and groove. They definitely don't have those around here, and just.
Yeah, I think they're probably a little bit more too concerned with Trump rallies down in your neck of the woods.
No, that's big facts. Big facts. No, he's not joking. That's why I chill here.
Understood. Yeah.
It's wild. Like I saw that Boiler Room's coming to Chicago. Like that's the stuff that I'm trying to do. Yeah.
Poison the Well and Glassjaw are coming in April. So if you want to go mosh on some people with me, you're more than welcome to join.
Ooh. Ty, I gotta ask, what your shirt you have on? Are you a person that gets a player, or do you choose no player on the back?
Yeah, I've got De Bruyne on the back.
Classic.
Before this season, I was like, you know what? I don't want to let my mind go here, but being that this is the 99 regen kit, I need my favorite player that's ever played for City on the back of this one because I know one of these years is going to be the final year that he's here. I'm hoping this isn't the season that he goes.
You want one more? You want one more?
I want one more. I want
12
a
more
victory lap.
Okay.
And I'd love to be able to know that for a year and make sure that I get over there one more time to see him. So I am going to the first Club World Cup match in Philadelphia. I don't want to fucking see any of our starters play that close to the end of the season. I would love to see Kusanov. I'd love to see Vitor Heisch. Let's be real.
You just said one of our starters. I just want to let you know
Kusanov's a starter now. But like,
I know what you mean. Like none of the guys that are like the season vets. Yeah.
I mean, the Kus needs to be loose in Philadelphia. That's my feeling. But I'd love to see Nico O'Reilly, and I'd love to see maybe a run during that tournament of James McAtee at 8 and just see what he actually is.
You might see Claudio, bro. That would be awesome.
Oh, we're definitely seeing Claudio. We're for sure.
I think we're going to see Claudio over the next couple of weeks here.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I mean, the way that people are talking about him, people are going crazy.
It's
People
been
going
kind of
crazy.
funny to
Break
see
loose.
like City's social media, every single
Break
time
loose the
that
coos.
break loose the goose. Let's go. Every time that they post who won over the past couple
Training
days
pictures.
in training, dude, it's always Claudio in there, man. Let's go.
That fresh energy, man. Those young legs, they do things.
Yeah,
I was
weird.
saying on the pod this week, I was like, he won't show up though before like we play. Like I think it's some bad team. I don't know if it's Southampton or somebody who plays the end of the month. Like we got 3 really big matches coming up, and I don't think Pep throws out new guy right away.
Dude, I
He's not
want
like a
chaos.
House.
I want him against Forrest coming off the bench.
That would be the definition of chaos. I wouldn't
That
be
is
opposed to off the bench.
incredible chaos. I was like, oh, what are they in like a couple of games? No, that's
That's
in 2
this week.
days. Yeah.
6:30 a.m. match on Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Well, everybody is the players. That's the equivalent to the NFL Thursday match. Like the players are always very sleepy. The games aren't always the best, but that
It's
might
not
be a
that
good match
early
to go on
over
next
there
year.
though. Like
It's still like a noon kickoff, right? Noon, 12:30.
12:30. Yeah. So
Wake the fuck up.
It's
Do your
early
job.
for them.
Do your job.
It's early
Okay?
for them.
I have no
Like-
sympathy for you. I have no sympathy for the fans. We tailgate at 8 a.m. over here, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
when it's football season. So y'all can get up, get a little liquored up, have a couple pints.
Mary
Go
D's
support
is
the
open.
club.
If City's about to
Exactly.
play, Mary D's has got the beers flowing. So
That's
Crunk,
all
I
that
can't
matters.
wait for you
Oh,
to
I mean, even the players. Like the players
yeah.
play sleepy as well on those days. Yeah.
Yeah, well, everyone needs an extra shot of cappuccino and just get in there and go.
Facts. Oh, but what are you excited? Oh yeah, Mary D's. Yeah, no, I'll be there.
You have to get a Vimto while you're there.
What's a Vimto?
Just tell them you need it. I can't explain it because I want the actual reaction video of him trying it. But
good content right there, Crunk.
Is
There
it
we go.
like
Put it on the list.
Chicago's
Put it down.
Malort?
it's
Is it
not.
like that?
It's not
Okay,
disgusting
cool.
like that.
Cool.
So,
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Namaste. Because I was like, if that's what it is, we're gonna fight.
so a couple years ago, during the pandemic, my wife and I announced to our families that we were pregnant for the first time, and my genius idea was, you know what? Right before that, everyone is going to try Malort for the first time. So they had these like, stocking stuffers basically. It was like 25 shots of Malort for $20. And I was like, fuck yeah. And so I got those and I was like, all right, everybody, we have something to tell you, but everyone needs a shot of this first. And everyone was like, just appalled by how disgusting it is.
It's not great. I don't just because it's get you. No, just
yeah,
no.
It's peaty. It's disgusting. But people in Chicago like actually love it.
I know they don't know what pizza. I'm just kidding. They have a tavern pizza. Sorry, I know what their pizza is. I'm not getting myself. I get lit, not that lit. I'm not attacking Chicago's pizza because they really do get upset about it.
All right, what is God tier pizza to Crunk? I need to know.
I'm never particular about a style, except for the Chicago style pizza is not their style of pizza. So that is a casserole. I call that a casserole. I've always called that a casserole. I know they have the pub style, the tavern style pizza that's theirs, and I actually do really like that style, the like nice thin crust. But but honest, I'm not that. I prefer good quality, obviously, but I'm also from the Midwest where everything's a fucking casserole.
New York style, dude. That's
It's
all
so
about
good.
New York style. I cannot wait. So I lived in the Philly area for 12 years, and I cannot wait to go back this summer because it's been like 6 years since I've been out there, and I cannot wait to go to my favorite pizza place, who are also Juventus fans. So I'm going to talk shit out of that game like next week after we're there.
Sounds great. Well, please let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Yeah. So Ball Junkies FC is the podcast that me and a buddy launched probably like exactly a month ago, and Crunk is in episode 3. So yeah, come out and check us out, and appreciate everything that you guys do over here.
Which social? Instagram, Twitter,
we're on all that. So Ball Junkies FC. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that. So
let's go. Well, appreciate you, my guy. Thank you for coming on.
Dude, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Nice.
Ooh, hold on. Sorry, I could. My bad.
Still here.
Oh, you were saying it was nice meeting Sharpie. I want Sharpie to make sure he gets his love. Sorry,
Sharpie. Very nice to meet you, my friend.
Appreciate it. Take care, bro.
Yeah. My bad.
I was like, get the fuck out. Time
No,
to go. I'm joking.
I do not.
I know that's not your energy. I know. I'm messing with you.
All right, let's bring in the next guest because I am low-key worried about his safety.
Oh no.
Hello. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Perfect. Loud and
Good.
clear.
Thank you. I appreciate you for just hanging out.
I'm on the stakeout. Full disclosure, it's bedtime in my house for the 2-year-old.
Yeah, no, we love that.
This is
Can't mess that up.
This is the quietest space is in the driveway in my car. It's like my own little recording studio. So to do the best for the lit stream as I possibly can, I'm in the car while my toddler's taking a bath and being very loud. And
I love that though.
We're also potty training. Too much TMI, but it's all hell breaking loose.
Yeah.
No trousers. No trousers. We're potty's out. We're all trying to learn some skills. So this was the best way for me to forgetting the peace and quiet for the lit stream. So lovely to see you both again.
Yes.
Question: Does your child have any type of an accent with you being British, or is it just like straight American?
It's definitely coming through pretty American right now, but there are certain words that he's picked up. So he says ball, whereas you
ball.
would say yes.
Yeah,
and he
like
says
that.
Water,
especially Sharpie's accent, especially.
Right, and he says water instead of
water.
Right. Yeah. So there's like the A. I think it's the A sounds.
Right.
The A sounds are a little off. But most of the other stuff, he hangs out with, almost entirely Americans. So
yeah, that's awesome.
It's so tough. Cool. Yeah,
it's tough.
I believe in you.
Out there for the
I believe in you.
But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Oh, I love it.
Loved the conversation with Ty. Great to see him. Seems like a lovely bloke.
Yeah,
right. That's cool.
Yeah.
The way he was talking about footy from 6 a.m. to 11 at night, I was like, "Wolf, he's putting the junkie and ball junkie."
Yeah, he is.
No, those are the best days. Like when I can wake up and know there's an early Premier League kickoff on a Saturday, and then again, if you get bored enough, NBA goes off. It's like, oh, Fox, what LAFC versus Houston? Why not?
I'm not really a CONCACAF men's head, but those midweek CONCACAF games on the West Coast or in Mexico or Costa Rica or whatever, they kick off really late. I feel like they're going to midnight on Central Time.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I used to love LAFC is great. Obviously NWSL has the best late night chaos. If you watch Angel City or Bay FC, San Diego, you always find something fun when they have home games. So it's definitely a nice nightcap to settle down.
Nightcap. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I just pass out on the couch with my dog cuddled on me. Yeah, that's exactly what happens every time. I try to say no, and all of a sudden I just wake up. It's magic. Oh man, but I want to hear about QPR because these are one of those teams that I just think of heritage. Yeah, right.
And well, it's funny because obviously you two and your community is so city kind of focused. And we haven't really talked before about the kind of strange connection that QPR and City have because of that game in 2012. I was actually there in the stadium in the away end at the Aguero game, which was such an amazing.
That's ridiculous, bro. That's amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a pivotal moment in English football history, and you
absolutely
live.
I'll send you some photos and videos.
How am I just hearing about this?
I know it's so funny. We've never talked about this. I was 29. Yeah, I was 19, 20. I think. I was 20. I think. In the away end, and as I'm sure that as the story goes, we were going to get relegated, and so the sort of 4,000 Rangers fans that all traveled up by train that day, we were all so in our head that it was going to be a nightmare, that the way it just felt like you lived every kind of emotion within the 90 minutes from you know, thinking you were down to thinking you were up to thinking you were safe to thinking you were down again. And there was just so much riding on that game. Like the kind of thing also, like 13 years ago now, there was a lot less social media and a lot less
this is amazing.
Information wasn't as easily available. So like my sister had a radio in her ear to get the result, and there was kind of like whispers through the stands of like, oh, there was a goal at Sunderland, or like, you know, Stoke were drawing with Bolton, which was the other game we were worried about, or Stoke, you know, Bolton had equalized, and you know, and so it was this kind of like weird whispery, what do they call that game, that children's game, telephone, right? You had kind of had this game of telephone happening in real time in the away end, and you'd see people sort of celebrating. You'd be like, oh, is that because there's been a goal at Bolton, or like, are we still watching this game? And even when Joey Barton did what he did, I remember it was on the other side. We were defending, the Rangers were attacking, or City were attacking our end in the first half, so we were in front of the Paddy Kenny and the Rangers goal. So the second half, which most of the game took place down the other end, obviously, because City were having all the chances, that was happening at the other end. So when Joey Barton exploded and, you know, tried to kill Carlos Tevez and Aguero and take everyone with him, we could barely see what was going on. So we weren't quite sure like who was getting sent off or what was going on. And yeah, it really was this sort of like very dramatic soap opera match that, like, I just remember there was so much we were trying to figure out in the stands. And again, you didn't really have a smartphone that could tell you everything. And you can't really, in English stadiums, it's different in America because I think they've invested more in Wi-Fi. But like, if you've ever been to a game, where you'll find out when you go, Crunk, you can't get service in an English football stadium for whatever reason. It's like really difficult, I guess, because there's just like so many people. So yeah, it was really amazing day. And I think by the end of it, obviously, you know, what happens, and Aguero scores that goal, and Rangers stay up. So what I remember a lot about that game wasn't even necessarily so much the game as what happened afterwards, which was like the pitch invasion and the City fans, you know, at that point hadn't won a title yet. So they were so happy, and we were so happy to stay up, that there was this sort of bizarre moment in football that I've never experienced anywhere else, which was in a game that was fierce and full-blooded and hectic, and like I said, full of chaos and whispers. There was both fans were happy at the end of that full time, which I've just never really experienced before. And I remember I swapped my scarf, so I had a QPR scarf, and I got a Man City scarf with like another young man on the other side of the home end, and like there were kind of like these City and Rangers fans like high-fiving and sort of like being like, oh, I'm so glad you stayed up, and being like, oh, you know, I'm so glad you won the league. And I just don't think I've ever really seen that in football much at all. Like, I was at the World Cup final, the women's one in 2023, and obviously, like, there had to be a winner and a loser, or even any match. You know, it could be a week 10 match in any league. There has to be a winner and a loser. And that match, as much as it was amazing that City won the title, it was sort of extraordinary that we had stayed up at the same time, and that atmosphere was really, really unique. So
that's incredible, man. Like, I guess like in football, right, we always know the concept of a draw, and that's when you usually say, okay, both teams take a 0-0 and everybody's happy. But
I've
never heard of it.
Yeah.
No one's happy, either or.
Yeah.
I've never heard of like, hey, one team gets no points, the other team gets 3 points, and yet the result works. Was it, question, because I don't know the table by heart, was it a goal difference thing with you all, or was it just like you needed someone else? Like, how did it work that you all stayed up even though you lost?
Bolton drew with Stoke 2-2.
Okay.
And I think we had a point on Bolton. So Bolton had to win, and they drew.
Okay.
2-2. There was a late penalty. I want to say, what's his name? Walters. You remember that player for Stoke? John Walters, I think. I think he had a penalty, or Peter Crouch had a penalty for Stoke, and that essentially kept us up. But obviously, we only needed a draw, I think, to stay up. So we must have been 2 points clear of Bolton, actually. Yeah. So we only needed it to be 2-2. So which is why when Zeko scored the equalizer in the 92nd minute, or the 90th minute, we were still safe. So we were like, 2-2 was fine for us. 3-2 hypothetically put us relegated, but Bolton, there was a late equalizer in the Bolton game as well. So that's what I mean. It was like, yeah, Peter Crouch, former Rangers as well. Great guy. He's actually from Ealing, which isn't far from where I grew up, and he really loves QPR. So it was quite funny that like there were these kind of agents of QPR agents at other clubs doing us a bit of a favor that day.
We don't claim that. What's up, Tarek? Welcome, bro.
What's up, man? My bad, fellas.
No, you're good.
Apologies, man.
You're
Kate's
good.
happy you're here. She was like, "Where's Tarek?"
I was
like,
gonna
"He's coming.
say.
I'm sorry,
I was
he's
gonna
coming."
say. I see Kate left a message. What's up, Kate?
You got the pro setup, looking the real deal.
He is the real deal. They are the
He
real deal.
is.
I'm the bum. Like, it's you got to
I would say
balance out all the
Tarek
greatness.
looks like I feel like
Yes.
I've been, you know,
I
on
know.
set.
Quality.
Nah.
Yeah, it's
HD,
crisp.
good
Yes.
headphones.
Yes.
Just
The
trying to keep
headphones,
up,
the camera
man.
quality, the lighting.
Yeah.
Trying
You
to
haven't
keep
seen like
up.
the mood lighting when we record our pod. Oh my gosh.
I didn't have time to do all that today.
Oh yes, the
Perfect,
mood
man.
lighting
He
is
was like, "No,
insane.
I keep it ready. I keep it ready."
I was
just
trying to
regular
get
lights
on
tonight."
here, so I
Yeah.
didn't.
Sharp is shooting for the sponsor though. I do like you got the product placement. That's
You
quite
know, I
Although I
have
hope you're getting paid.
debated. I have debated reaching out to different like technology vendors and being like, hey, I need 4 of these things. Send me 4 of them. I'll do a video to check it out or whatever, but send me 4 mics, 4 cameras, whatever. We'll see.
Let's go.
One day.
Yeah.
It's so funny. But yeah, no, you missed one heck of story. Theo was on the losing but winning side of
I felt like I
QPR.
won.
He was there. It was great.
Aguero!
Oh man.
That's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Theo, can I
great.
ask a question? This
Yeah,
may
any
be a little invasive. If it's too much, let me know. So your sister, for those who don't know, is also a football journalist.
Yeah.
Flo. And so here's the thing. I knew your sister before I knew you, right? Like I've been listening to her and following her through like Righty's house and everything she's done. Like, how is that like growing up with someone and both of you end up working in like sports, like football journalism?
I think for us, we just grew up really living it. Like we used to commentate. We used to like mute the TV and do our own and call the game ourselves, when we were kids. Like we were just doing it, from such a super young age. We were so obsessed with football. We always went to the football together. We'd travel up to Manchester together and for away games, and we were just really huge QPR fans and to some extent, by extension, England fans as well. But really, like I was saying, when we were prepping to come on, like I only really have one club, and it was a family club, and it was the club around the corner, and we grew up in the area, and we all went, and it created those bonds. And yeah, whether you were watching, the big game on Sunday, Man United versus Arsenal or whatever, back in those days, like you would. That connection, or the way you break down the game with your sister in the living room, was sort of like, I think, the birth of that, our relationship to then talking about football and writing about football now. I think my sister was always a lot more, and remains a lot more, stubborn and forthright than me. I can be a little bit soft and squishy. As Brian Clough once said, I do believe in fairies. So she's a lot tough. She's a lot tougher than me. She's a lot more stubborn than me. So I think she knew what she wanted to do at an earlier age. Whereas I know, I've been on the show before and talked about my background. I tried to work in the music industry for a bit. Was in and out of a lot of different jobs in journalism and writing before I kind of nailed down on soccer, football about 7 years ago. So yeah, she was a big inspiration to me when I decided to turn my skills to that. So I think we grew up and we were like much more influential on each other and collaborating with each other in a very organic way as children do. And then, I think more recently I've had to learn from her and ask her for help too.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And Tom was wondering, which was the older sibling, you or her?
I'm the older sibling. We're very close in age, so it's only about 14 months between us. Sorry, that's not true. 24 months. Sorry,
okay,
2 years.
So 2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
2 years,
Nice.
almost exactly. Yeah.
Hey,
so
I'm 2 years older than my sister. We do not have as beautiful of a relationship. It seems like you and your sister.
We're very close. We're very close.
I need to call her after this.
Give her a ring. Call your sisters and brothers out there, viewers, listeners, wherever you are. Call your siblings. I grew up, so I got 2 older brothers as well, and we're very tight. and two younger half siblings who are much younger as well. But we're quite a big group of kids, all Rangers fans. We're actually all in London 2 weeks ago to see QPR beat Derby 4-0, which was
perfect.
a really great day out. This, my dad and his 6 kids hadn't been all together for a long time, and that was a really great day out at Loftus Road. And yeah, very close to our siblings. But me and Flo having so much in common, we talk every day, I would say, and we're always talking about whether it's work, whether it's love, life, football.
Where's y'all's reality TV show or docu?
Exactly.
TV show? Like, what do we?
I don't think anyone would watch it, Crunk. I appreciate. don't think it's as interesting as you think it is.
I don't know. Get sell your likeness first.
We talk about like Vanderpump Rules, the Kardashians.
No,
that's what I sound like. That's exactly what I sound
like. The Lloyd-Hughes trashy. We probably don't fight enough. That's probably the problem. We don't.
I mean, this is the pot we all need.
We wouldn't throw our
Lloyd-Hughes pot. Like, we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
We used to very
catchy.
I feel like I probably told you this when I was last on, but during the pandemic, we had a podcast together called Relatively Football.
I like the name.
We did for about a year. We did about 50 episodes or something.
But I like you as being the stand-up dad, and you both like football and how you like football in it. Like your sister's a personality, and I feel like the camera would love you each for different reasons. And I some feel good dad, like, but also like I'm sure you talk, like you said, you're squishy, but like you do your thing, and so that'd be a good way to people can see that side of you. And then that's just how I am. I'm thinking more of like a Malcolm in the Middle, like zany family type of vibe. Like that's why I'm not like sell your likeness. No, God no. Oh no.
I was like, that would be funny if someone was like, we're thinking about doing a family reality TV show.
I mean, I'm here for that. I mean, do you think you can embrace that life? I guess I don't know what.
Take the money if someone wants to shoot. If Bravo or whoever. If Bravo, if you're watching.
Theo, get a bag, Lloyd-Hughes. I love it.
If raising a child's not, eggs are expensive, people.
Exactly.
Everything's expensive.
Eggs are so expensive. Like a dozen eggs will run you like $7. I'm like,
someone was joking. While we bring it back to football a little bit, someone was joking about obviously this time of year we get all the new kits, and the older we get, the more expensive kits get. They're now something crazy, going on $200 or at least 120 odd. And someone was joking, like soccer fans in America now have to choose between eating eggs or buying kits. And I was like,
damn, man, it's hard.
It's harder. Yeah, exactly.
It is. It's tough. It's so tough. Oh man. Okay. Well, I would like to talk some Wolves though. Like we got you here. I feel like, yeah. But okay. Why don't we hear more about Liga MX Femenil?
Good question. I mean, I think people have probably a bit of bias that the league is not at the level that it is. And don't get me wrong, like at the same time that I think there's a lot of bias in one direction, that people feel like the league isn't any good or that it's lagging behind the NWSL or Europe. There is a lot of inequality in Liga MX Femenil, but there's a lot of inequality in the WSL, and people don't say the same thing about that league. Like the top 4 in the WSL are way ahead. And I think that's, for me, the best way of looking at Liga MX Femenil to some extent, is that there are some elite teams that in the 8 years it's been going pretty much dominate every single year, and they are going to dominate. But that doesn't mean there aren't great storylines. I think more than anything, it doesn't mean there's not incredible goals. Obviously, this week with Jackie Ovalle, the whole football world, which is very refreshing, the whole football world, all corners of it, has been talking about that, whatever you want to call it, scorpion kick, back of the heel over the top volley lob.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have a better name for that goal? It's so magical. It's really hard.
I mean, might as well name it after her, right? I mean, I haven't seen
the Ovalle. But no one's going to do it again. So it's not like a Panenka. You know what I mean? It's not like people are going to be attempting it. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of bias, whether you want to say that's because of the language difference or the cultural difference. I think people relegate it to being a lesser league, when in reality, again, those top teams are investing as much or more than some teams in America or Europe. So I think they need to be taken very seriously. But even when you move down from your Rayadas, your Tigres, your Club America, those big clubs, Pachuca, I think there's amazing stories going on, and particularly in youth development as well. These are clubs that have academies, that have a much better infrastructure for kind of considered pathways to football for under 17 environments to move into the professional level. Whereas in the States, you obviously have the kind of ECNL youth system and then the college soccer game. So everything's a bit more broken up. Whereas in Mexico, the academy system is much better, or I wouldn't even say better necessarily. It's just different. It's more linear. And so the clubs, the young players playing in Liga MX Femenil is ahead of where the NWSL is now, albeit we're seeing more kids come into the American game at the moment in the pros. But yeah, I think the young players are amazing. I think the goals, the style of football, that people want to shoot from anywhere, and I really mean that. People will shoot from anywhere in that league. Centre backs are scoring like 40-yard screamers. I think there is a sense in that league that when the fan bases on the get behind the teams, it can produce some of the best atmosphere in the continent. I think, in the NWSL, you have Portland, you have Angel City, you have probably Washington Spirit now. But if we're being honest, we don't have too many great home atmospheres. And I think the atmospheric games, especially when the teams are well marketed or the clubs are doing more to have equality in their marketing and stadium infrastructure, the atmosphere in Mexico is incredible. And like I said, way ahead in some cases. What Tigres are able to do in the playoffs, I think is some of the best atmosphere in the country, or sorry, in the continent, and not, if not the world, in women's soccer. So I think there's so much to like about Mexico, and I think it gets a lot of disrespect, probably because of the language barrier, the cultural barrier, and it is a bit slower. I think Americans who will watch it it is less athletic because that's the culture of football over there, right? It is a little bit more possession based. It is a little bit more technical. And so if you don't see these kind of big transitions and people, these kids who are athletes and NCAA champions, and it just looks a bit different. But I think the quality of football is incredible. And yeah, for all those other things, it really should be taken seriously.
I love it. I just wanted to put up top. Lack of academy system is NWSL's biggest weakness in comparison to other leagues. And Danny's going to beat you up for talking about the current like that, Theo.
Wait, what did I say about the current? Oh, the home fans. Yeah, no, Tom actually coming in with a big shout out. Current is put the current in that convo. I'm so sorry. I had a bit of amnesia. The Casey Current, phenomenal stadium, great fans, great people.
It's like literally what you didn't say about current. It's you didn't say.
Did I miss anyone else? Did I miss anyone else? Current, Spirit, Portland, Angel City. Has anyone else got good atmosphere? San Diego, maybe, but
not good enough.
Not good enough.
No, I think you hit the big ones. I
think
you
the big ones. And the current. Yeah. I definitely had the current. I'm sorry about the current. Yeah. And you know what? To give the current some more love, they actually have a reserve team that play, I believe, in the WPSL. Fantastic training facilities and are very connected to youth soccer in the area. So you can see they are trying to lay the groundwork for an NWSL academy system should and when it comes. So I do think the current are ahead, and I would put North Carolina and Racing Louisville in that bracket as well. There are some NWSL clubs that are thinking ahead and trying to look at Mexico as actually somewhere you can learn from, and you can bring what they're doing in Mexico into the NWSL. And I would say North Carolina Racing and KC Current are the three clubs really investing in that academy system.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we will get you out of here and let you go into your own home. Like truly thank you for your time. It's been amazing. Please let people know where they can find you.
Blue Sky, Theo Lloyd-Hughes, Instagram, Theo Lloyd-Hughes, just my name with an at the beginning. So good to be here and chat as always. I wish I'd learned more about you. It's funny when you're on the spot, you're kind of like,
no, this is how we like.
But I'm like, I got to hear what Tariq's up to. I need my Sharpie updates, but I always know where to find you. So always appreciate you building a community and talking about football. So
thank you so much, man. Have fun potty training. Good luck with that.
Oh, it's been a crazy 2 days. Yeah, we got another who knows how long to go, but yeah, cheers.
See you, my guy.
Appreciate you.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that was wonderful. Yes. Okay. Time we're gonna stay in MLS, like St. Louis represent. I feel like we had the upper Midwest. Now we have, is St. Louis the Midwest? I guess he can tell us. Like, I kind of feel like, especially once you get to certain parts of St. Louis, I say it's the South. But because like there's parts of South Illinois where it kind of feels like the South. It kind of feels like the South. So
feeling and geography are two different things. Culture versus where you are.
You go to some of those parts in Southern Illinois and tell me if it gives you a little South feel.
No, for sure, but it's still Illinois. Like you are the Midwest. You ain't,
Like if you look at,
I'm not letting St. Louis jump into these buckets. Nope.
Mo, how's it going? How are you? What are your thoughts? Oh, you're on. Hold on, you're on mute.
Muted.
I was told we were like the gateway to the West.
There you go.
And-
the Midwest. There you go. In the middle, on the way to the West, not the deep South. Thank you.
I didn't say deep South.
The arch,
it's a greeting.
I was going to ask you, like, what do you mean by South? Was it?
I don't know, because I always when I'm going down to Arkansas in the South, it's basically right before I have to hit in Missouri, which is like for sure, South. I know
it gets very nerdy because you get like, oh, these states were free states, and then they came
things
in.
are facts.
It's a lot of nerdy shit that comes out of me. I'm like, I can't.
I'm
sorry.
I'm trying to call it like spiritually South, and he is like, but it literally is not.
I consider South is like depending on how the flag's starting to change. That's where I started to feel that if I'm more in the southern state versus west and north. That's how I see it. You see certain flags, and then they're like, all right, maybe we're going to take left instead of right. And
yes, no,
that's how I see it.
Yes.
When that American flag means something different, it's like, why is that flag?
When that other flag
starts, truck?
I'll say, then you start seeing the other flag. But you know what? The sad part is you see that up north too, and that's the crazy part. I see that around my way. I drive down the street. I'm like, what are you? I had a truck in front of me the other day. I'm like, well, you got a bumper sticker that on. Who does that? We in Indiana. We on the top of Indiana. We're not even at the southern Indiana. Who does that? And then
my favorite thing in Virginia is like, don't tread on me. I'm like, bro, it is not 1777. Like, what are you doing? Nobody's treading on you.
And see, this is the problem.
For 300 years. Shut up.
See, Crunk really wasn't talking about geography when he said it's the South. But he didn't want to. He was trying to be nice. He didn't want to say what he was really saying. He said it feels like the South. What he meant was, I don't feel welcome in some parts. That's what he should have said.
Exactly.
There's some places that I'm going that I don't feel welcome.
There's brothers talking. I knew when you said South, I knew exactly what you meant.
It's like
it's not about geography. Me down. I was like, my God.
I mean, those pockets exist everywhere. Like you said, I go to upstate New York,
and that's real.
And be like, oh, I don't want to go in this diner. Like I went hiking one time up in upstate New York. And I was like, let me get out of here real fast. It don't feel right. People started looking at me walking around, and I was like, this is too much. Me and my multicultural group of friends. It was a lot, Or you go to certain parts of California. Love California. Drive a little more inland. See what pops off. It's a little different out here. Go to Orange County. You will feel like, whoa. They got some different values than LA. So it's a little different.
That's all very fair. That's all very fair. That's a
great icebreaker though. I like it.
Is it? Oh, well, happy to help. I guess you've been keeping yourself pretty busy. You've been covering so many the indoor, like the Arena Soccer League. I see you covering that.
MSL,
Yeah. And so, what have you been up to since last we chatted? Because honestly, the last time I feel like you had you on, you were kind of, you were focused on just like STL and just kind of like supporting that. And now you're killing it.
Well, thanks for having me again. It's been a while, so I've been watching, and you guys have grown, 10x since we last spoke. So I'm enjoying watching, all of the people that I talked to kind of, making their ways. And I think the last time you guys, spoke to me, it was like St. Louis was like the brand new club. Mm-hmm. So that was like the hype of, everything. And for me, since I started to do a little bit more content with soccer, But like STL and having soccer in my hometown, that's like kind of reignited my whole soccer madness that I had previously. So that's why now you see me start doing the indoor soccer. They don't get enough respect because, you know, we have great guys in there that I got to meet a lot. So we got British guys. We had a guy, Will, that was in PSG Academy, and that played with, you know, some of the guys that you now see in the French national team. So I kind of starting to find, you know, those pockets of American soccer that are not getting enough spoken to because there's MLS and USL's getting it. But then at the same time too is that there's like, it's like a full circle of a lot of the MLS guys know the USL guys, know the NPSL guys. They all have either played together. So my goal was like, yes, I will talk to my St. Louis City SC group. And I'm just going to stop here for a second. There's CONCACAF soccer at this moment I'm watching. Inter Miami against Cavalier, which is from Jamaica, right? They just scored against Miami, Inter Miami right now as we speak.
Love it.
They're beating MLS with Messi on the bench and Suarez playing. So that's what kind of brought me to this whole world of soccer, is that it's starting to get a lot more interesting now in locally, even though I'm still a Chelsea fan.
Yes. I mean, and that's usually when I brought you on, is that's what we would talk about is Chelsea. But
yes,
you know, I see you more in red than I see you in blue. So you know, I mean, I know you're not.
It's still hard, but you know, I still have to say City all the time. So you know, I have to learn, you know, to catch myself with the blue, the red, City. You know, it's challenging to have multiple teams.
I bet. I mean, how is their outlook? I mean, we asked Ty about Minnesota United. Like, how is St. Louis STL's chances?
So last year was one of those, the second year, and we were like, I call them emergency FC because we literally had injured players from strikers all the way to our center backs. It was so bad, we had to take some of our CD2, which is like homegrown kids, to play a regular season game. And there was 3 of them on there. And there was 3 of them on the bench watching because how bad it was. So that sophomore year was very not many wants to remember of, except towards the end of the season where we started scoring goals and we're close to the playoffs. So now the projection now is that we feel a little bit better of, you know, acquisitions. Akil Watts literally started 2 games, the first 2 games of the season. So we're starting to see a little bit more of like being optimistic on Ty. Might not like it too much, but I think City will be in 5th place. And I have his team in between 8 and 9. So I'm sure we'll have some few discussions later on that one. You're on mute, by the way.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't even hit that. I'm scrambling now. Yeah, I was just laughing at the fact that you said Minnesota's actually lower than he expected. That, you know, he's being hopeful. I love that. That's the Let's stream.
Yes.
You have kids who play soccer, right? Or just interested in it? Like how?
No, my boy that's in between the sisters. Yes, he play club soccer. He's the one that enjoys more soccer at this moment. He's the one that's forcing me to do all this club stuff and travel and being in -5 almost temperature outside. So you know, yeah. He's a huge Mbappe fan, which I guess is kind of normal, and PSG fan. So EPL, he's just collecting jerseys as we speak.
That's a different type of love, man. You just said -5 to go watch some kids kick a ball. Oh my God.
Crazy out there.
God bless y'all, man. Y'all Midwest dads, y'all are out here really in it.
I'm sure Tarek knows all about it.
Yeah. I have a picture on my phone of my kid where we're in Ohio. They basically had to clear the field of the snow. She's got, a floppy hat on her head, trying to just keep her ears warm and, bundled up gloves. And it's like, why are we out here? So there are a lot of things that I miss about those days. That, however, is not one of them. It is not. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the basketball gym.
Mm-hmm.
Indoors
all the
futsal
time.
days. But
Yes.
I think it's enjoyable. And I think for me, like the biggest thing is that it's just sharing the sports with the kids. They do have, they can't see, football, basketball and all that, but soccer is almost like that small community that we kind of built out. So you can just play. Sometimes people come to St. Louis to play, but then after that is like, if they're from Florida or they're from Kentucky or something, you kind of start to see almost the same people. And you start to see kind of the kids starting to progress and, their development through the sports. So that's kind of the fun part of, I see it more as that than just like, club soccer and etc. Is that you starting to see a lot more of the people and building that community, which then kind of shows the rest of the world, like myself, like in France, I would have never guessed in America, you had that soccer culture until you're in it.
Well, and actually speaking of that, as someone who, like you said, growing up and experiencing the way that the French play football and have the academies and all that other stuff, now that you're a dad in America raising a kid in this pay-for-play system, like how has that experience been?
I think it's been interesting in like multiple facets to that. So since I've been to the academy system, so I do understand that, people see the beautiful picture that's painted in Europe as the academy, and it's free. But let's not forget too that in our small cities, we'll call it, like in our block, for example, there's 3 soccer teams. So there's 3 club teams, right? But they do invest, so it's free, yes. But they have that merit system where when one player makes it to the big leagues or even like second division or something, they get a portion of that money that they can just reinvest it, and it just goes in circle. One of your guys' legends, Mahrez, right? He's literally from our neighborhood, from Sarcelles. That's where we literally play in the same soccer field, even though I'm much older than him. But he grew up in there, and he just takes one soccer player to pretty much takes care of a local club for maybe 10 years. So just imagine if you're able to bring 1, 2, 3 players, then those clubs don't have to really pay for it, but they have the system to build it. In the US, what I'm seeing is that it's MLS, so it's a single entity, it's franchises, right? So they're not really tied to a club per se. And most of their owners are NFL owners. So they were in it just for the money to build the league. But if you look at some of the owners in Europe, it's like they grew up watching the sports. When they started to make money, they wanted to build that team to come up. But now it's more of a business. So, but there are people that are playing soccer for free. MLS teams are doing their academies for free. And I know a lot of club teams are also allowing kids that maybe don't really have the funds for it to play for free. So it's not all paid for.
Yeah.
Not everybody's paying for it.
It's just once you get to like obviously the MLS level, but I feel like
I'm talking local clubs.
Yeah.
Oh, there are some? Okay.
Yes. I'm talking local clubs.
Like our club, we had a scholarship program. So if you couldn't afford it, then there were things that you could do. You could apply for a scholarship. Maybe you got some of it off. Maybe you got the whole thing off, but you had obligations that you had to do to kind of, work around a club, tournaments, whatever. So there are ways to do it, but that was more onesie twosie as opposed to like everybody. The premise that I get, or the image that I get in my head about European academies is no one's paying. And that's not the case here, with the exception when you get to like the MLS academies. But even that's only those top teams, because you've probably played at your local club up for the first 5, 6, 7 years, and then you go to the MLS academy for those last 2, 3 before you either go off to college or you get pulled into the MLS2 team or MLS Next or whatever it is. So there are ways to get it paid for. Go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, and I think there's one thing that also people don't see in the academies is that they're not just creating soccer players, right? So if you make it to one of their academies, for example, but in the progress they're not seeing the progress of you being a professional soccer player, they will then direct you to, hey, you can be a sporting director, you can be a physio, you can be a coach, you can be. So it's one of the system where it says, yes, you can be a soccer player, but if you cannot, here's what you can do next.
That's dope.
But it's the federation that takes care of that too, that makes the rule that says that everybody else on the needs to follow. Here, US soccer does not have the teeth to say anything, for example, to MLS.
They don't care that much.
But in Europe, and I can only speak for France, after the 98 World Cup, when they saw, yes, we have the talent to win, they literally scrapped everything they knew about soccer and created that French Federation system that says, this is what we want. And their motto is, we're building the French national team. And then maybe we have professional soccer players underneath it. They want to build the French national team first, and then we add professionals. Here is, we'll get our professional soccer players. Maybe they will be in the national team, or else we'll just get someone from England that has parents that has an American passport or a German passport. So that's why that's why they're behind in a lot of it, is just because the top brass, the federation, is not able to make the rules of how their plan wants to be. That's why Saudis do, right? Saudi has their plan. They're like 2035. This is what we want, and this is how you do it. So that's where the US maybe has to kind of build on that until MLS, which I guess I follow them as much, but US soccer has to have teeth.
Yeah, they had a plan too. I think it was 2020, and we're 5 years past it, and still nothing. So, but again, I think to your point, there is a innate struggle between U.S. soccer and MLS that basically MLS is allowed to kind of run over and just kind of do whatever. And maybe it's legal, maybe it's whatever, all the different things that make the U.S. unique versus other state or other countries, excuse me. But I find it hard to believe that we're ever going to ascend to those heights with the setup the way that it is. We have to make those changes and be bold, like you said. Hey, we're gonna just scrap a lot of this stuff and start over.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they will learn. The World Cup will be the for me, I always say that this World Cup will almost make or break if the US will be a powerhouse or in the top 15 of the world in probably the next 50 years. And this World Cup will have to determine that, because after that, they won't let you slide. I mean,
So Mo, question: when you say top 15 in the world, do you mean as if like, hey, we think of them as like one of the 15 truly best footballing nations, or like, oh, when there's a World Cup, you are going to make it to the round of 16? How do you rate that?
For me, those even the round of 16 and a team make it to the semifinal or final. For me, the World Cup, you can scratch every placement you can think of. I don't care if you started first or you're in dead last. The World Cup is one of those tournaments where it will only matter when the referee blows the whistle and how you play it. It's one of the few tournament or sports that literally equalize of. Doesn't not matter how much GDP your country has. Example, was it what? Argentina and Saudi Arabia, or Senegal that beat France in the 2002 World Cup, right? That's, for me, it's just the equalizer. When I say 15, is like when you go in the ranking and you say, oh, you see Brazil, you're like, oh shit. Oh, you see Germany, you see. Right now, you don't have that for the US. That says we're playing the US. We're like, okay. So for me, 15 is one of those countries where it's like you just go down the list and you're like, oh man, we're gonna have to be at our best at all time. World Cup, if you feel in it, you can win it, or maybe make it to the final, because I think only 8 countries have won the World Cup. So once you get there, it may be difficult, but moving on up, if your number is called, make it happen. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a lot of hot takes.
No, I like it. Well, I mean, you're not wrong. We are definitely on the bottom tier of like we're
not too far though.
We're also way before. We're way behind schedule. Like Derek said.
Yeah. Like, well, I won't say too far though, because you have the athletes, you have the players that are playing enough.
It's not great.
It's just I think the US is missing that one player that has flair. That says, I'm the man and this is my team, and you guys need to play with me so we can go somewhere else.
I will say, to defend this country I don't like a lot right now, we are technically number 16 right now in the FIFA rankings.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
and we floated normally like we go between like 12 to 18, but like we're not getting past Argentina, France, Spain, England, Brazil, Portugal. Like the top 10 are locked in, right? Like we all know that. So you're playing for like 11 to 16, 15, and it's like I feel good about this. Like I'm okay. Like I don't expect America to be better than them. It's like when you go to the Olympics for basketball, although France really, really wants to go medal, right? And then who knows? One day it might happen in 2028. It didn't happen in 24 because we had Steph and LeBron and KD, right? Like you know certain things you can't get past, and like it's okay.
I do.
You can be hurt,
I knew. I saw the roster. I was like, you know what? I'm good. Silver.
Yeah.
The U.S. is like a mid-table EPL team. You're
with Bournemouth.
You're decently disciplined. You're going to work really hard. You got decent but not great players. You might see one or two like, oh, that kid, maybe they could play for a big 6 team or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of who the U.S. is. They're going to win a couple games here and there that they shouldn't. They're going to beat the teams that they should, and they're just going to be what they are.
Around the 16 makes me happy every time. Daniel, yes, we're talking about the men. Women are the best in the world.
Oh yeah,
top 3. We know that, right? Sure. Like that's a whole separate conversation. They are the gold standard. The men, we're some upstarts. We're gritty. We fight hard. We just want to nick out a point. Like that's what we do in the men's side. These colors run over there. These colors don't run for the women. The colors run for the men. They run all the time. I don't know, but the women. Those are my heart. Like, that's the beautiful game right there.
Yeah. What you think that maybe
that's why I stand up proud for the national anthem is for the women. Yep.
What did you say, Mo?
What were you saying, Mo?
Shouldn't they just like take the blueprint of women's soccer did and then just wouldn't it be?
But it's really not a blueprint, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
We were the first country that I should say the first. We're one of the first countries that really invested in women's sports, period. Title IX said we're going to invest in women's sports. When we were talking about Mexico and the league there, they didn't even play really. Females weren't even playing. It was the culture didn't even allow for
8 years
that.
old.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So and it's just the culture wasn't there. So these other countries are really starting from behind and trying to catch up. And so when we do lose, especially if it's like a tournament or something like that, really competitive matches, that's where it's like, wow, that's a shock, because we've had the structural advantage of women just being involved in sports for years. It's just been a part of our culture forever. People have grown up. We go back to, and again, there's always been, women's World Cups going all the way back to 99 and what before. But for us, it was always, especially when Title IX hit. That's where I think the advantage is, not more than anything that U.S. soccer is doing.
Yeah, so they pretty much took we have to build a platform for people to perform.
Yeah.
And the men were like, we're fine.
But I think the men were late to the game, right? So it's that timing thing, right? Like male soccer in America did not pop off until, you could say 94, right? When the USA got it for the World Cup, right? But even still, you are 40, 50, 60, 100 years behind other countries. And so you're literally like, hey, can we dominate CONCACAF? Okay, we do that now. Mexico and USA is not a rivalry anymore. We're better than them. Now it's like you said, are we going to actually get to a World Cup and say we're going to make a quarterfinal as like the bare minimum? I would never say that. I would not be stupid enough to go
I do like round of
2026
16.
quarterfinal. Fuck
Yeah.
out of here. Have you
Round of
seen the
16
rest of the
nice.
world?
Yeah.
Like I watch these people every week. No, we're not as good as them. It's okay. You are who you are. Like, so it's like the expectation for men, because we are a patriarchal society, we want them to be the best. But in reality, this is one place where, like most things, women are better than men. The women soccer players are so much better. The women politicians are so much better. They're better than Trump. Like, it's just like we know this, and it's just like thankfully on the field they can prove it versus like having to deal with white America to elect people. So yeah, it is what it is.
And to circle back, and what I've been amazed when since I moved to St. Louis and I'm starting to hear the U.S. culture, is that it baffles me even more knowing that there's actually have been soccer culture for like 50 plus years. And there was those moments like, US beating England and something, but they never kind of took that ride with them and kind of tried to improve the sport as they had to. So it looks like they had the time to do it and they had the moment to do it. They just decided not to do it. Because I would have thought that, you beat England with a whole bunch of St. Louis boys that do not play professional. I would have thought that would kind of ignite something that says, hey, we maybe get this and put a little bit more, I guess, flavor of immigrants in your national teams.
Oh, and that's definitely not happening now.
That would have probably, now you see it now, but maybe if you would have done that 25, 30 years ago,
well,
it would have been a different story.
And we're getting a World Cup again. And I know what it's going to do. Sure, it might bring more kids playing the sport here,
right.
But if our federation doesn't care, doing fuck all, like what can we do from there? Like what we won't be able to take advantage of this now youth, this whole generation of now footballers who will be interested. I mean, obviously the women's team is more set up for the men's, but it's unfortunate.
Yes, and I think, and that's why I'm doing more of the football now these days. Is that we kind of, and even the people that I've kind of talked to from St. Louis, but also all across the country that I've kind of reached out to, the grassroots soccer is a lot stronger than people expect. Like when St. Louis City, for example, came up, right now there's like 25 podcasts that talks about soccer. And the team is 3 years old. We have more than other teams that have the MLS 1.0. And I think the problem was that since there was a handful of teams and maybe they didn't really have access to the soccer teams, so they cannot promote, their own soccer, right? And then they cannot promote it within their own communities because soccer starts in your community first, and then it expands to your city, and then it expands to your state, and then it expands to the country. But if you're trying to go from the top to the bottom, it's going to take a lot longer because you're missing out on a lot of people. Midwest is full of soccer ballers. I see that. I watch them week in, week out. They have great players. They just don't maybe have the view of it. People are not talking about them. So that's where you kind of get you're missing the gap. And that's why they have to bring the big Messi and all to make it, to expand the sport. But what you're doing is kind of alienating those kids that are aspiring to be players, because now they're like, well, college is getting all foreign players. The MLS is getting all foreign players. USL is getting all foreign players. So where do you have to go unless you're exceptional? You don't. So that's where me and a lot of people are kind of promoting that part. And I guess we can jump to high school soccer, where I'm doing a lot more of the high school Champions League. That started in Florida, for example. So what they do is just like your regular Champions League, right? So each of the classes, high school classes that win their state are automatically entered into a tournament. And then there's a draw of like the best team that's shown the skills, and then they add it to the Champions League, and then they do a whole Champions League tournament, and then final. In Florida is at Airline Stadium where Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Okay.
And here in St. Louis was in Crivcore Park. The last one in St. Louis here, high school, literally the entire stadium was sold out. It was so bad that we had to have people stand outside of the fence all across the stadium to watch high school soccer.
That's exciting.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
So
That
now
is
we're
what you're
doing
supposed to
that,
do.
and
That's fair.
they're doing it in Florida now. St. Louis was here. I think there's about probably 25 other cities that we're like working on trying to get them to do the high school Champions League tournament. There's nothing to pay. No, none of the school pay. It's all donations. Select Adidas provide the soccer balls, so it's high school soccer. A lot of people kind of skip high school because they do the ECNL and all of the acronyms.
Clubs don't
Right.
want them to. Some leagues
Exactly.
forbid it. ECNL
Yeah.
used to forbid it.
They still
wow.
do.
Yeah,
We
see?
know we have a whole bunch of kids that we know in St. Louis. They're not allowed to play high school soccer
Yeah.
because their club team is so high up in whatever ranking they are that they do not allow them to play high school. So they're missing the whole community soccer, right? Pride to play for your high school, to play for your city. Would you imagine a kid that plays in the favelas of Brazil? You say, hey, you cannot play for Sao Paulo. You just got to play for this. There's no pride in it. And they lose all that culture. So high school soccer, if you those of you watching it, make sure you check it out. It's in St. Louis, Florida. Kansas City is very soon. 25 cities. That's the goal, right? You want to have access to everybody to be able to enjoy the sport, and that's how you get your true ballers. It's not created in your club or your academies. It's street soccer first.
I love it.
Yes.
No, that's great. No, honestly, that I like where you got it, because especially the whole like culture part of it, and growing and representing, because even like you said, that's nationalism. I mean, I know that's a scary word nowadays, but that's the pride that you need in like to want to represent America and be the best soccer player that you can be. But that's also, it's just like really tough to do, but also you're laying the groundwork for that, which should hope to bring more players and at least want to continue pushing to become the best player that they can. Because again, if like that's sort of but actually, let's just end there. No, I like it. Because I want to have you back on to actually talk about this. I accidentally really opened up a really interesting like trail, especially because of your experience in it, and you can really kind of speak of the differences. So it's great, but please let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Everything is Mo Football Pod TV and Mo Football TV on all social platforms. So, yeah, I'm pretty much all on there. I have 4 interviews coming up from college coaches. You guys probably would like that one, an EPL player, and one a South African, and a U.S. soccer legend. Those are the next 4 interviews that I have all. I just have to press release.
Hey, let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
And,
all right.
And just to close it, Tariq, I think we might have to, get Akil Watts and see how we can, because that's your boy. And he's
I was gonna say, you mentioned his name earlier, and I went to look, and it's like, yeah, he's played full 90s for the first 2 matches of the season. So, but when you look at his roster spot, it's like he's in the like those lower 25th, 26th, whatever spots, but yet he's got 2 starts from 2 going full 90s. So I'm just glad to see see him doing well. Just get on the pitch, man. Get playing time.
Yeah,
but
brand new coach, and he's
to
taking over players.
Or to kind of point back to our conversation, when he went off to play in Spain and then coming here or whatever, if there was those payments to the club, the local club here, how many more people might have been able to come through? When DeMarcus Beasley, how many more people could? When Sarah Killian, now Womo, came through on the women's side, these players would have generated income for the club that they could have used to fund more players coming through. So, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to just seeing him continue to grow.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. You have a good rest of your night.
All right, take care. I'll be watching.
Take care, Mo.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you, bro.
Oh man, what a show for you all. Oh my goodness. Next week.
Ooh.
That's
Crunk takes London. Crunk takes England. SOB and ENG.
I know. I won't be here. I'll be on a plane.
Yeah, you'll be gone. We got you. We gonna hold it down for you.
Yes.
Tom got admin policies. We got you. Ain't no
Yes.
happening,
Good. And honest, yeah, we'll figure. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. I was looking up.
I love it, Daniel. Thank you, sir.
Crunkchester, yeah, freaking. Yes, I love that. That's so great. Into the channel, we're gonna have them on. Talk UWCL, like they're a great women's football podcast, and get some Arsenal, our SOB Arsenal pod show, bro. Byron of Arsenal 86 podcast
just had a birthday, the homie.
And Andy of Comiskey North, he's a Chelsea fan, and he's a White Sox fan as well. So
Comiskey,
yep. Oh man. Hey, yeah, I know they do some great work. Really connected with them, and yeah, just glad to have them back on. So yeah, great show. I'll watch it later. But yeah,
like PTO, Crunk. You get PTO, we got you. We're gonna hold it down. We got you.
Oh man, it's gonna be great. Crocchester,
it's not PTO. He's going to England. It's holiday. He's holidaying.
Holiday. There we go.
Yeah, it's a holiday.
There you go.
It
Crunk
is a
on holiday. That's the content series right there. Crunk on holiday.
Crunk on holiday. That is. Thank you guys. Making my
turn up, my boys. Turn up.
Can't spell UK without Crunk. I know they're gonna hate that. The English are gonna hate that. Just
well,
like
sorry, that's how the language works.
That's how it is.
Oops.
And I'm literally writing these down now because I was like, I need to write these down, and I never did. All right, well, show bros, love you guys. Y'all have a good rest of your night. Shady Gang, we will see everybody. You know the vibes. Shady Gang, Shady Gang,